Deion just got a new contract, and part of the negotiation was my boy's number gets retired as well. And he gets to go down in history as, I think he ranks maybe number 7 on Colorado's all-time passing list. He's right behind Joel Klatt. Joel Klatt had nothing to do with anything I'm saying. He's not the person that called and told me this. But Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders, and he's making a mockery of Colorado's won a national championship. They have great former players: Eric Bieniemy, Michael Westbrook, Cordell Stewart. And this guy's getting his number retired. Nobody's going to wear number 2 anymore at Colorado because this guy had a cup of coffee 2 years at Colorado and won 13 games and lost 12. I saw this yesterday, and I just fell out laughing. And this is where I'm going to throw in, and I don't know if we got it, but this is where I'm going to throw in. It's like, it ain't just Deion's ego that's out of control. It's all these coaches. I look at Bill Belichick and him parading around with his 24, 25-year-old girlfriend at the University of North Carolina. And all these guys have gone mad. They make too much money, and they've just, no one has any values, any standards anymore. This was I can't figure out what I think is crazier. Shedeur Sanders' number getting retired, or 73-year-old Bill Belichick giving his 24-year-old girlfriend some sort of job where she's on the field in boots and some sort, like she's headed out to the nightclub. Which one's crazier? Who's got a bigger ego problem, Deion or Bill Belichick?
Well, I mean, a lot of things aren't adding up here, Jason. Second-team All-American, 7th all-time in passing yards, 13-12 record, obliterated by 3 touchdowns in his one and only bowl game. Yeah, a lot of things are not really checking the boxes to jersey retirement. So that looks pretty outrageous. It actually, I hate to draw the correlation here for old Deion, but it kind of reeks of a little bit of the LeBron-Bronny situation that we've seen in Los Angeles, kind of hamstringing the Lakers, holding them hostage, forcing them to draft Bronny. It kind of sounds like what Deion's negotiations involved with having Junior's jersey hung from the rafters. But Jason, with all due respect to the great Bill Belichick, I think I have to go towards Belichick being more outrageous. I mean, gone are the days of the solemn, like Chuck Knowles roaming the sidelines in the NFL. Like, Bill Belichick was one of the last bastions of that, wasn't he? He was supposed to be the last football guy, the last business-only kind of guy, and now he is the last guy I would have ever anticipated would have his 24-year-old arm candy patrolling the sidelines with him. It is sheer and utter madness. I think, in all due respect to Deion and his never-ending, expanding ego, I think Bill here looks even worse and more pitiful to me.
I actually agree with you, and that's hard for me to say. I think, and it justifies Deion's insanity. Deion is sitting there saying, they complaining about me putting my son in, retiring his jersey. Are you looking at Belichick? And here's what Deion's saying. If a black coach brought his 24-year-old plaything on the sideline, blah, 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 blah. And I don't think it's true, but that's what he's saying. I certainly would be sitting here complaining if Tony Dungy took a college coaching job and was parading around a 24-year-old, my new girlfriend. Real Estate Agents I Trust connects you with top-performing real estate agents in your area. These aren't just any professionals. They're carefully vetted to ensure they're leaders in their field. They're experts who know the ins and outs of best practices, thrive in the wild housing market. Beyond their skills, they share our core values that me and you both believe in. Real Estate Agents I Trust. The name really does say it all. Visit realestateagentsitrust.com. That's realestateagentsitrust.com. Put the picture of the woman in the boots and all this. Look. None of this makes sense in terms of 73 and 24. But she can't this is how she's dressed, helping Bill Belichick I think their spring game or some practice or whatever, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. If you're going to have a 24-year-old plaything, can she not dress more appropriately than this? Bill Belichick was the guy that hated distractions. You're telling me this isn't a distraction? You're telling me you're not. He doesn't even have the street smarts to say, hey, you know what? Parade my 24-year-old girlfriend around a bunch of 21, 22-year-old jocks and athletes who have no sexual discipline. No, and I'm going off memory here because it was 40 years ago, I believe, or 39 years ago when I was a college athlete. But the trainers, the female trainers that taped your ankles and brought you ice and cold water to drink, they were always a target among the football team and players. And they weren't dressed like this. And so if you Bill is putting a target on this girl's back. Because if you think those players aren't sitting there going, oh, if I could tap Bill Belichick's girlfriend, that I'll be high five. Because this is what the players do to each other. We call it snaking. They snake each other. You know, and this is why you don't bring your girlfriend around the other athletes. And black, white, whatever. The athletes, they're hyper competitive in virtually everything. And at that age, the competition goes way off the field. I'm blown away by Belichick. I'm blown away by Deion. I just think we're going to see more and more of this. Belichick has set the tone and set a standard for all coaches. That, like, it's now appropriate to put your sugar baby on payroll.
It's insane. I mean, with all the younger coaches we have too, I mean, you've got Sean McVay, his wife's some kind of IG model of some sort. But of all the guys, the younger, era of guys that have come up, it's this guy, this 73-year-old Patriot Way guy, the guy that didn't even want his players stepping out in interviews. He basically controlled the interviews for all these guys for years to, again, avoid distraction. And now, as you point out, this is what we get from that guy. And to your point, could you imagine if one of the players does tap the girlfriend? What kind of a nightmare PR situation that would be? Is Bill Belichick tapering playing minutes because he thinks that maybe this guy tapped his girl? It is insane, the storylines that are now opened up by this. I cannot wrap my head around it for the life of me. Like when the story broke and we saw the Ring camera, I don't know if you, this little 24-year-old thing, this happened, this has been going on for months, Jason.
Yeah, maybe more than a year.
Yeah, and when the story first broke, it was Belichick caught on Ring camera. You remember this? He was like leaving her house with no shirt on.
Yes.
Like, it's just ridiculous at that point. And then takes her to the ESPYs, he's parading her all over the place. I thought this was like a little couple-week fling or something like that. This is like an ongoing relationship now, and like you said, she's on the freaking payroll now. It's craziness.
It's a humiliation ritual or something. It's a late life crisis. It's a man in full-blown insecurity. And I'm asking this in all seriousness because there's a woman that follows me on Twitter. Her name's Andrea. She's a former Mizzou cheerleader. She's quite familiar with my work and, because she's a big sports fan, but I don't know who she's married to. I respect her. Anything she's ever tweeted at me or I saw her on her Twitter page always seemed reasonable, but she tweeted at me when I complained about this with Belichick in the past 24, 48 hours. She was like, hey, there's nothing to rejuvenate a middle-aged man, and he's not middle-aged, but she's calling him middle-aged, like a young woman, and she kind of defended it, and it like blew my mind. And so where I'm like, at 73, and I hate to talk, one, he needs to be getting married and getting rejuvenated that way. But if he were in a relationship with a 40-year-old woman, I'd have nothing to say about it. Okay, Bill, but he's got him a pretty young thing. 40, that's a grown woman. This is a grad student. He's on a college campus. There are other 24-year-old girls out there. Am I wrong for thinking like, hey, man, God, has a 40-year-old, 39, 42. I'm telling you, I wouldn't bat an eye. I wouldn't utter a word of complaint. Is that reasonable?
I think so. I mean, quite frankly, there's certain years that seem more acceptable or less acceptable versus, based on the differential in age.
Yes.
But just in terms of your individual age, yes, 40, 39, 40, like that seems just more appropriate to me than dating someone at his age that could be like a grandchild. It's kind of creepy, honestly. And now he's thrust her, for lack of a better term, into the national spotlight here with this story. It's so weird, Jason.
And so I don't think this Belichick thing is going to work at all. I'm really thinking this North Carolina thing is going to be one of the most embarrassing things. Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.